stayed at a campsite last night. I've probably had about 3 minutes sleep again for the second night in a row. Not good, but I'm up and running early because I was like, I can't just lay here anymore, nothing's happening. So windy outside that I've brought my tent in this barn that they've got, which is pretty cool. And it seems not too damp in here to collapse all my stuff because I didn't want to make my tent into a kite. But the good news is today that because it's been so windy, my tent's fully dry, whereas the night before it was pretty soggy and I was carrying around a bit of extra weight. So, silver lining. Okay, day 3. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, to do about 16 miles today to get to Pitiful. I am currently in Rosthwaite. Yeah, so just over 16 miles, but within those 16 miles is about a 4,800 ascent and a 4,600 descent. So we'll have to see how that goes. Weather is wild. It's so windy. Just had another steep climb. Well, pretty much climbing, scrambling, whatever. It was hard and steep, but look, wow. Whew. So I'm now up and over the other side of the original hill that I went up this morning. The other side of this hill is completely different with the weather. It's really strange, it's like going into a new world, but it is still kind of windy. So I'm just going to climb up this now. I think I'm about 3.5 miles from my first stop, where I'm going to stop to get something to eat. Grasmere. So yeah, I'm going to plough on. So today I only made it 8.9 miles. So last night I got to Rosthwaite and I camped. Today I intended to go, I think it's around about 16 miles to Pitiful. There was a huge climb and descent, about over 2,000, down into Grasmere, which is around about halfway. Last night I noticed that my stove, my pocket rocket, it had packed in, basically. It was still working, but the O-ring that, you know, the seal had broken, so the gas was leaking around the edges and it was essentially a huge fireball, so I couldn't really risk it blowing up. That, alongside the weather conditions, I haven't really filmed too much today because the weather conditions were pretty extreme being up that high. Quite torrential rain, extreme winds, very hard to even keep upright. So I got down into Grasmere. I was like, I'm gonna have to go and get a stove, otherwise I can't eat. There's 4 outdoor stores in Grasmere. Not one of them had a stove. I think they're just for people who buy outdoor clothes for fashion. Sweetie, look it up. So that was a bust. There's another place just about 20 minutes bus called Ambleside. So I came down there to get a stove, managed to wander around a bit and get one. So then it's about 2 or 3 o'clock and it's absolutely torrential rain and the wind is going crazy. And I've got another just over 8 miles with a 2,000 ascent and a 2,000 descent, basically the same as what I'd done that morning. And I just thought, I don't want to risk it. For a start, I'm absolutely soaked to the bone. All my stuff's soaked. The conditions were fairly treacherous on the first set of peaks. There was a few actually. And do I risk doing that again? And bearing in mind the nights are closing in, I didn't want to get just stuck a little bit too high and not quite make it into pastel. So I just called it and I've stayed at Ambleside. So I've only done like 9 miles today and I'm absolutely gutted, but I needed the stove. My stuff was absolutely drenched. I would have potentially ended up staying on some random side of some random mountain or something. So I just tried to swallow my pride, which is a bit bruised. And yeah, I just called it and I'm in the guest house now, just washing all my things and drying them out. So yeah, the trail is extremely poorly marked, very, very easy to get lost on. Bogs, lots and lots of bogs, lots of rocks to climb over, lots of boulders, lots of jaggedy stones. You can't get a pace at all. You're stopping and starting constantly. At one point I strayed a little bit and I put my foot in something that felt like it was too soft, so rather than just stay there, I kind of hopped onto my other foot just by reflex, and then my leg went in up to my thigh and it was completely stuck, and I panicked for a bit. I was thinking, oh, how the hell am I going to get out of this? So I had to actually sit. I remembered that if you lie down, when you've got your foot stuck in, it was like quicksand but not sand. I can't think of the word right now. This is how shot my brain is. Yeah, I remember seeing that if you get your foot stuck in that kind of situation, that you should lie down and like wiggle it loose rather than try and push yourself out, because you push your foot more in. So I had to lay in this bog and like wiggle my foot out, but I was off the trail, so if I got stuck there, I don't know what I would have done, but it's fine, I'm out. But yeah, that just shows how easy it is to just get into a bit of a bad situation. So here I am, just chilling, having my Tesco meal deal, and I'll be back on it tomorrow, hopefully past pastel. Got a big climb tomorrow though, but this guest house also does bed and breakfast in the morning, so I'm looking forward to that. Hopefully I'll be a bit stronger tomorrow and the weather will have calmed down.